Hi Linda, welcome to your stretching video. So in your video, we're going to focus more on your upper body, especially around the neck and the surrounding muscle groups up there, because that's where you tend to hold your tension and stress, and that's just the way it is. So we're going to move on with that, okay? We're going to start with our full body stretches that we practice with together, and then we're going to get more specific and work on the smaller muscle groups, and eventually get to the neck, the trapezius, and all the surrounding muscle tissue. And hopefully, if you practice these, a little bit every day, or at least once a week, we'll see start to see major results. And the next time you come down, hopefully, well, maybe you're coming down soon, but in the future, 6 months to a year from now, continually practicing these is going to show some really compounding results. So let's get started, and yeah, very excited to be here. Thanks for letting me create this video for you guys, and all right, let's go. Okay, Linda, so we're going to start off in our wide feet position. Take a nice deep breath, and remember, I know you like to bounce sometimes into your stretch, but that's going to be counterproductive. It's going to actually tighten your muscles up a little more. And you know what I mean by that. When you go down, don't bounce, just go down one deep exhale into it, okay? So let's bring our hands up overhead. Exhale. Remember, push all the way up, and then pull your arms back a little bit. And then come all the way down. Cross your arms, tucking your chin. Going deep, deep, deep. Just one solid stretch, breathing into it. And then bring it over to one side. And remember to turn from your whole core here, not just to rotate your body. You want to turn into it deep. And then other side. Weight in the heels. Knee is relatively straight. You're stretching the hamstrings out, as well as your lower back and your upper body. Back to center. And come on up. Okay. Feet about hip width. Another deep breath. Again, crossing the arms, tucking the chin. Weight in your heels, knees relatively straight. Tucking your chin, and then slightly over to one side. And other side. Remember to turn from the core, not just rotating. And back to center. Touch your toes and come on up nice and easy. If that at all hurts your back, by the way, if you're coming up and you get a little back pain, feel free to use your knees or as you need to, but this is actually going to help stretch your back as well as strengthen it at the same time. As you're going down, you're stretching. As you're coming up, you're actually working your back out. Okay? Perfect. Next position, we're going to turn to the side. I'm just going to give you a side view here of so you know what we're doing. You can have a view of my knees and how straight they are, and the rest of my body, what everything's doing, okay? So deep breath in. Opening up the chest. Now remember, you may not be able to get there, but just to do as much as you can. If you're here, that's good, and you're just going to bend over and bring it up. But make sure you do keep your fingers together tight. Okay? And bring it down. Good. Notice how my knees are slightly bent and not completely straight, because that might put a little too much tension on my back, but it's enough to give me a stretch on my hamstrings while I'm getting a stretch on my shoulders, my chest, my biceps, right? Okay. Left arm across. Very good. You may want to do that a couple more times. So this warm-up is going to serve as a stretching warm-up, so we can go into our deeper stretches, other side, with a little more ease. Because I know how tight your upper body is. You really got to kind of warm it up before we get in there. A little bit differently from George, where we just need to jump into the stretching. I want to warm your upper body tissue, because you know how dense and hard that your traps and your shoulders can be. So we want to really get the blood flowing up there to try to relax it a little, as much as we can before we get into doing an isometric, isolated stretches. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring up your left tricep. Elbow, you're going to grab your elbow, reach down your back with your back hand. You're going to pull over and back. Now you may not be able to get there at all, it may be here. So exhale. And 1. Bring it down and again. 2 as best as you can. Good. And 3. Now remember again, the reason we do the repetitions is to pump the blood and oxygen into that muscle and pump out the lactic acid and cellular debris so we get a proper stretch going on. And we're not just fighting ourselves, we're working with our body. 2. And 3. Very good. Okay. So that completes our warm-up stretch. We're now going to walk. Now we're going to go into our isolated stretches. Okay, great job. Moving on. Okay, Linda. So this is going to be our stretch and bend. We're going to use this pole here as leverage, and you can use anything in your house or outdoors, whatever you need. Anything about this height that's flat, preferably something that's like a right angle here where you can use good leverage. This is going to provide an additional benefit because we can actually grab onto it, and when we grab onto it and make it almost a fist, it's going to give us a slightly different stretch than if we have our palms flat. So it would benefit us to have a pole, a railing of sorts, but if not, a flat surface will do. And I definitely encourage you to actually do both. So if you're doing it in the house on a kitchen counter, maybe you can find somewhere at a park if you go for a walk to do the stretch in the park or anywhere else around the house. Okay, so starting out, we're going to step away from whatever it is you're stretching, about like 2 or 3 feet. Say about 3 feet is good because you're going to lean into it. Start with the first position. Your palms are going to be flat on there, and in this case, I'm going to grab on the bar. Okay, so deep breath in, and you're going to just lean into it. Now this may look easy for me because I'm flexible, but you may only get about here. And to get additional leverage, you walk your feet back more. Make sure you are anchored in your heels and your knees are not bent, but straight. You're going to be pushing back into your butt. And in pushing back and away, in this case I'm grabbing here and I'm pushing away, and I'm pushing down. I'm getting a slight back stretch, hamstring stretch, shoulders, chest, and upper back, all at the same time. Okay? So we'll call that 1. And again, remember our stretching rhythm that we do. We take a deep breath in, exhale, into the stretch as deep as we can go. If you need to, take multiple breaths, but keep breathing out very slowly. And in this case, we go as deep as we can, hold it in the stretch for 1 to 2 seconds, and then come out as gently as we went into the stretch to begin with, and then repeat as many times as you need. This one I recommend 5 to 7 times in a row, and then afterwards you can do 2 to 3 sets. Okay? So we're going to do 1 set together. Here we go. Deep breath in, and exhale. Good. That's 2. I'm going to walk my feet in because actually I can't get as deep as a stretch there myself because I'm flexible. So I'm going to move my feet toward the bar. 3. 4. Now you may notice as you come down into the stretch that your elbows want to give a little external rotation there, and that's going to additionally stretch the rotator cuff and the shoulder girdle. So allow your body to do that as you progress through the stretch. It's okay. All right? Good. A couple more. And last one. Notice I'm keeping my back flat. I'm actually contracting here, and that's going to give me a posterior pelvic tilt and engage my hamstrings, and I can actually get my my hamstrings and calves need a little stretch there. And 7. That's perfect. So, to build on that, once you master this stretch, move on to actually resisting and pushing down. So we're grabbing here, and we're not just pushing back this way to create the stretch. You would be pushing down this way. So you're pushing down and back, and you're resisting the stretch, creating tension along here. And you would actually be the opposite rotation of your arm. You would be, instead of externally rotating, you would be internally rotating. So instead of like that, your arm would come like that, and that would actually engage your latissimus dorsi, your lats back here, and give them an additional stretch. So in the beginning, just focus on the passive stretch, and then as you progress, it could be a few months from now or however long, once you get flexible to the point of your head is way below your shoulders, like so, then you can add resistance, push, just enough to give you a little resistance, make it a little more difficult, and engage here, you'll feel an additional stretch as you progress. Okay? Very nice job. Moving on to the next stretch. Okay, Linda, so this is going to be one that we reviewed in the warm-up a few minutes ago. We're going to do it a little more in-depth and go with 5 to 7 repetitions as is my magic number, which I like to see in stretching repetitions. And then from there, of course, move on to doing 2 to 3 sets, because the first set, most of the time, serves as a warm-up just for the muscles to get acquainted with the stretch. And then the next set of 5 to 7 serves as a pretty intense stretch. And then the third one, they tend to really open up, and then it becomes like a breeze. So in the beginning, as you have time as well, do just 1 to 2 sets, and then move on to doing, as you can, 2 to 3 sets. Make time for it. At least once a week, I would say, do the full 3 sets. And as I said with George, when you find a muscle that is extremely tight, say this one you find to be extremely tight, do the 2 to 3 sets maybe once a week with that, as well as 1 set of the rest of the stretches that we do. So that would kind of consist of a really good program for you. Okay? So I'm going to face this way to give you a good view, and then I'll face the next way on a few more to give you both views here. Okay? So wide feet, interlacing the fingers behind the back, opening up the chest, rounding the shoulders back, and then as much as you can, you're giving external rotation of your arms. So because your hands are clasped, it's going to look like that. Interlace, open up, round back, and you're going to keep your head tilted up a little bit. If you tug it, it's going to be fighting your neck muscles a little much. So holding that right there, deep breath in, and weight in the heels, you're coming down as much as you can. You may only be about here, but just give it what you got, go as deep as you can, hold it, 1 to 2. And then come up all together. So your head is a little bit raised up in the beginning, and then as you get down there, you relax your neck and allow it to stretch and not resist the stretch, okay? So facing forward, wide feet, a little wider than your shoulders there. And again, each repetition here, as I've mentioned, I want you to switch your finger position. Now what does that mean? That means naturally, usually right-hand people, they put their right thumb over their left thumb when they cross their hands. Left hands are opposite. You can ask George. Left thumb goes over. And that's just the natural way it is. So as you'll probably naturally go for this one in the beginning. Just switch and go back and forth with each repetition, because it will serve as a slight difference in a variation in the stretching motion, especially in your shoulders. Okay? It's not a detrimental thing, but it will make a difference. Okay? So interlace the opposite way. I was right in the beginning. I'm going lefty. Okay? Open that chest up, head up a little bit, and exhale. Bring it down. As high as you can. 1 and 2. Bring it up. Now for the sake of your back, as you come up, feel free to bend your knees a little bit. As you're going down, your knees are completely straight. You get a deep stretch. Here's number 3. Again, switch your finger position. Open that chest up. And 1 and 2. Good. 4. And 5. Very good. 6. And last one. Yeah, and 7. So towards the end there, you might feel your shoulders get a little bit kind of tired and a little sore there. It's stretching different parts of that, but it's also going to be stretching your rotator cuff with that rotation and bringing it back up. So that's a good thing, especially for you. We talked about the importance of strengthening your rotator cuff. You know, just picking up groceries, reaching something to the counter. You know, you're always using the rotating muscles of your shoulder in the kitchen. And anytime you raise your hands up above your shoulders when you're carrying something or picking something up, you do risk rotator cuff injury. So the more we do this one, and the more we do those strengthening exercises together, which you possibly will do in another video, the better off you'll be, especially as you get older. That you will avoid or hopefully very much reduce your chance of getting any kind of injury in your shoulder. Okay? So very good, nice job. We'll move on to the next one. Okay, so now we're going to be doing our triceps in the back of our arms. These are very closely related to the lats, which we stretched over there on the bar. This one you can do one of 2 ways. We're going to do it the easier way, but you can do it absolutely anywhere. Which is just the version we did in our warm-up, but in a more in-depth version. And the second way is you get a wall, and you hold it there, and you actually, this is great because I have leverage and I can actually pull into it, and then push like that, reaching down my back. So keep that one in mind, but feel free to do that later on when you get more experience and more flexible in your triceps. For now, we're going to do the simple one. So you're going to reach up, reach down on your back with this arm, grab this one, and then you're going to pull it back with an angle, 45-degree angle. So you're going over and back and reaching down. It's going to be 1. We're going to do both arms on this one. And 1, 2. 1, 2. Give a little slight contraction in the back of your shoulder to help assist that. Good. Bring it all the way down every time. Pump the blood into it. Good. Remember, 5 to 7 repetitions in each one of these. And then when you find the one that you want to do more, do 2 or 3 sets. As really as much time as you have. You can stretch it as much as you like. It's not going to be, it's not going to go against you to stretch a lot. Good. Reaching down, pulling back. 1, 2. Good. Good. 1, 2. It may seem I'm going a little bit fast on this, but please feel free to take your time. Go as slow as you need to. It's better to go slow. I may go a little bit faster paced because I just had a few cups of coffee, and at the same time, I'm more flexible, so it's easier for me to get into it, easier for me to get out of it. But do take your time as much as you need. Pause the video. You can come back. You can rewind it any time. Don't feel free that if I'm going at a little bit faster pace, no need to keep up with me. Take your time. Okay. And last one here. 1, 2, very good. Perfect. Other side. And 1. One, 2. Pumping the blood in and back up. And 1, 2. And 1, 2. And again, this kind of stretching very much serves for you to have compounding results that when you stretch with this more often, you will need to stretch less, which is exactly what we want to do because we like to have our bodies flexible all the time. And in your case, you do put a lot of stress into your shoulders consistently, so we'll see how that kind of works together, whether you need to stretch a little less or if a moderate amount is good, we'll find the equilibrium and then work with that. Okay. And bring it back up. 3. 1, 2. Very good. And a minor note here, when you bring it up, remember not to slouch your neck down, but to open it up. I like to say, you can lean the weight of your head back into the stretch, but don't push back with your neck. You don't want to strain any supporting muscle groups on your spine. Good. 5 to 7. Good. A couple more. Good. And last one. Good. And that's it. So, I talk a lot and sometimes I don't keep up with keeping count as much as I ought to, but so feel free. I say 5 to 7. I may do more or less, but as long as you're within the right amount, use your body to feel the correct amount, and then split it up into doing sets in 5 to 7 more or less repetitions. Okay, perfect. Moving on to the next one. Okay, so we moved outside because we had some company needed a gym. I wish it was a private gym, but unfortunately I live in a condo, I gotta share it. So we moved outside here, and to move on with what we were saying before, we're gonna go ahead and use the corner here because I feel more comfortable with the corner. There's no molding on it, like on a door frame. And so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to use it in the resistance stretch like we talked about. So what that means, like we did on the bent over one I explained on the more advanced version, where you are resisting slightly, and that's going to engage your muscle and allow to stretch the fibers under pressure rather than in a relaxed phase. And what that serves is a more advanced stretch for people like me who are very flexible but still need to get a good stretch. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you, walk you through it very slowly, okay? So we'll start here on the right side. You're going to put your arm all the way up. Now this is what it's going to look like if you were just doing a regular relaxed stretch. You would just push into it and like that. You're not going to get any benefit. So what you want to do is you push into your hand. Take a deep breath. You push just very slightly, stiffening up this whole area under here. And then exhale into it. And you're going to feel a very kind of different sensation move down as you stretch into it. Good. So just very gently bring it back down. Very gently, you lean into it, and you're almost pushing the force down this way from here. Nice and slow, nice and smooth. Back up out of it in 2. That's going to stretch everything up in here. Again, really high up, deep breath in, exhale. And also if you see my legs, maybe you can't see it in the video, but I'm bending my knee into it, my back knee and my front knee. And giving it a little pull, so that's going to create, as my hand's glued up on there, it's going to create this pull here, creating as we call it, lift, and pulling up and out as I'm resisting, as you'll be resisting into it. 4. That's an advanced form of stretching that I did not actually need to include in George's video, but I think that you watching you as you were stretching your chest when we were together, this is going to serve as a more advanced one that benefits you. Okay, so again here and pushing into it, slightly engaging the lats over here, and good. Let's get one more. You should feel a nice stretch in your chest, shoulder, everywhere. And you notice as I get further and further into it, I'm still resisting, I'm not letting go, and then I push up out of it. Even as my elbow is here, I'm still resisting, I'm still getting the benefit in here. Let's try try the other side. So arm up here. Remember, if you're standing on a right angle, perpendicular to exactly where that corner is pointing. Staggered feet. Opposite foot when you're stretching is forward. Take a deep breath. Remember, creating the tension along here on the outside, resisting slightly, and then you're bending your knees and then pushing in under resistance, stretching out your chest, your shoulders, your lats, your rotator cuff. 1, 2, pushing out. Good. My left arm's a little more tight than my right, so I'm getting a good stretch in this one myself. I'm going to rotate a little more just to give you a better view. Right here, pushing in. Exhale, coming down into it. Good. So you're resisting in the amount just enough to hold you up and then let you go into it a little bit. You don't want to be forcing yourself into it, and you don't want to be forcing yourself to resist. You don't want to be here. Relax, just a slight bit of resistance as you push into it. Deep breath in. Bend your knees a little bit, coming down into it. Good, very nice. Shake it out a little bit, get the blood flow, and again. Good. You may also notice I'm a little bit farther away from the wall this time. Before I was a little closer. There's slight variations in the stretch that you can do. You can move a little bit farther away. You can do, as we reviewed a little bit, is you do up, you do over, and you do actually all the way down. But just for the purpose of this video and the sake of time, we're just going to focus on the vertical one because we want to open up your chest, okay? Good. But here, resisting in. 1, 2, and back out. 2 more. 1, 2, back out. Good. Again, a real good stretch myself on this one. And last one. Pushing in, bend your knees a little bit in down there, creating that lift. 1 and 2 and finish. Good. So that lift I mentioned, as we're pushing in, we're kind of, it's pulling out. That's something that I would do when I'm assisting you with the stretch, pulling up on your wrist and your arm as I'm stretching your arm back. You may not even notice that I do it, but you can do it in almost any stretch. Even the tricep one, as you're pulling it back, lift it up out of the socket a little bit and pull it back. It's going to give us a slight bit more stretch, okay? So great job. I'm loving what we're doing so far. We're going to move on to the next and final stretches for your shoulders and your neck. Okay, so finally, we made it through all the other stretches. Now we're on to the creme de la creme, the next stretch that we really love doing with you. So without further ado, here we're going to bring our left arm behind our back. Remember, your hand's going to be right on the small of your back there. And you're going to be kind of pulling back and down a little bit. So elbows coming back and down in that direction. You're creating the tension up here in your neck. And we're going to do the straight over version. So just bending your right ear to your right shoulder. So, and bringing it over. 1, 2, and you can move your elbow around to find where the most resistance is. Hold it there, 1, 2 seconds, and then come on out of it, relax your arm. Bring it back up again, and here we go for number 2. And 1, 2. You may notice that my nose started drifting over a little bit. Try to keep your eyes forward, keep your eyes open so you can see what you're doing. Because you want to just remain straight over on this one. There we go, 3. Perfect. Release, and again. It's a really good one to do in multiple repetitions. 4. Now normal here is 45-degree angles of your head. I may be going a little bit more, but I may be compensating with my shoulders or something, but 45 is where you want to get to. You don't want to force it too much more than that. And also consider, as imagine you have a pole in your head, you're bending that pole over, and you're giving it, bend like that rather than just pushing like that, if you know what I mean, okay? And again, here we go. Feels real good. Just hold it for a couple of seconds. No need to hold it too long. Repetitions are best. Alright, down over. there, multiple sets, 5 to 7, 2 to 3 sets. I think you're going to love this one more than anything else, so enjoy. Other side. Put it in there. Back it down. Exhale. 1 to 2. Perfect. Release. It's going to give you a little bit different view here in the back, what it looks like. One, two. Very good. Bring it all the way back around. Interesting for me, this side's a little more loose than the other one. I think maybe I stretch it a little more. Good. Very nice. A couple more. Doing a great job. Keep up the good work. And last one. Good. Do remember that, both of your arms work maybe a slight bit differently to try to get the same exact movement on one side as the other, so you have even flexibility. Okay? So what I mean by that is, even if you find your head is tilted 10 degrees forward while doing it on one side, and the other side you're tilted 10 degrees back, you're going to have uneven flexibility in your neck. So just make sure that you try to get everything as evenly as possible between both sides. Okay? Perfect. So moving on to the next stretch. It's going to be the same thing, but we're going to actually tilt our head forward and over. So I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. Same arm position behind the back, same tension, and this time we're going to actually turn about 45 degrees that way, and we're going to bring it over this way. And I know for me that's a tight one. I really feel it. 1, 2, and release. And again, tilting over like 45 degrees from center, and then over this way. 1, 2, very good. And then come back to center position. Relax it every time. 1, 2, that's 3, perfect. Don't force it, nice and gentle. Really trying to bring your ear to your chest. Woof, that's a good one. 4. 5. I'm starting to feel that one a lot. 6, and one more. Very good. So on that one, you may find that you don't need as much tension on the arm. You can probably even do that just like that. And I noticed my muscle was actually getting a little cramped up there because of my arm position. Feel free to do that one without putting your hand behind your back. Well, let's try that on the other side. So arm at the side, take a deep breath, turn 45, and then push just the shoulder down, and then pull. 1, 2, perfect. 2, perfect. I like the other way better. I'm going to put it back, but feel free to do whatever the way is most comfortable for you. I do apologize, they're playing hip-hop music in there. You can probably hear it on the video, as well as we have the fountain, there's construction on. There is so much noise out here, but I barely hope you can hear me pretty well, and if not, I'll remake it so you can hear me a little better. Here we go again, arm behind the back, tilt. Forward. Good. A couple more. And good. I'll give you a sideways view on that too. And very good. I know I loosened up really well on that one. So like I said, don't strain yourself, especially if you get any tightness up there while you're doing it. Just relax a little bit. You can even bring your arm down to the side and then move on. Okay? So let's see, we did lateral, we did this way. We're going to do our scalenes next, because I know your scalenes are so tight. Remember this one. So, hand over hand. You find your clavicle. Your index finger goes right, if this is the clavicle, you push down on the flesh and the skin below it. Hand over hand. So my hand is pushing down, giving lift again to your breast, and then you're going to pull it up and away. Clenching your jaw. Good, you're finding the most resistance there to go with. 1, up and over. 2, very good. Wow, that's a tight muscle there. 3, and wherever you have the most pressure with your hands is probably where you're going to feel the stretch in your neck. If I have most of the strength going where my knuckle is, I'm going to feel that right here. If most of it's in my palm, I'm most likely going to feel it more here. So just remember to evenly distribute the weight, or distribute the weight more in one place if you need a deeper stretch in that area. Okay? Very good. 4. 5, just a couple of seconds each. 6, and 1 more. Man, that's a good one. I love that stretch. Opposite now. So opposite hand to opposite clavicle. Find the clavicle with your index finger. Push down, in and down, right below it. Hand over hand. Deep breath in. Exhale. Man, I just love that one. That's really good. And again, so get in the habit of finding that position every time as you push in and down. Wow. I feel that up in my jaw and my teeth and everywhere. Really good. Just hold it a couple of seconds. Remember to play around with it. Find where that most resistance is and go for it. Stretching is something of an anomaly. Most people say, there's a saying that goes, of course, follow the path of least resistance. In this case, you want to follow the path of most resistance, and you want to stretch it out so it becomes the path of least resistance. All right? Here we go again. Find that clavicle. Make sure you're exhaling into it. A few more. Good, 2 more. And last one. Here we go. Good. So, along with all the other stretches we did, do as many as you need on this one or any of them. I highly encourage you, the best one for you is going to be behind the back, the right over, and then forward and down. So, that's going to stretch out all up in here. All of that area that I work with the DMS all the time on you, and all the area that you get massaged so much. It's going to help loosen it up. So feel free, you can do that anywhere that you want that is safe. I wouldn't recommend it while driving, but you could be in an elevator, you could be waiting in line or something, your neck's a little stiff, go ahead and just bang a couple of those out. But just remember the smooth repetition that we do it in, that's what's really going to help you to loosen that up. It's the consistency over time you're going to loosen it up. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, it is compounding results with this. So the more you do it, the less you need to do it, all right? So now I only stretch maybe really, really in depth, maybe once every couple of weeks that I need to, or even maybe once every 3 weeks. But I'm always stretching all day long with clients, by myself, in the gym, before I work out, after I work out. I'm doing little bits here and there, maintaining, and then I don't have to do as much. It's great. So you guys will get there too, I really believe it, all right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I had such a pleasure making it for both of you. And if there's anything else that you'd like me to include as a separate video, just let me know. Have George email me. You guys can call me anytime. I'm always happy to make something for you. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon. All right, have a safe trip down next time you come. And the weather's turned out pretty nice down here right now. It's warming up. Hope you guys get down here to see it. Thank you so much. See you guys soon. Bye.